What if the way we connect with the world isn't just a preference, but a hidden compass guiding the course of our lives? In the early 20th century, in the serene landscapes of Switzerland, a revolutionary idea took shape in the mind of psychiatrist Carl Gustav Jung. It wasn't just another theory, it was a lens through which we could understand ourselves more deeply than ever before. Jung introduced two fundamental forces within the psyche: introversion and extraversion. He observed that some people seem naturally drawn to the outer world. They thrive in bustling social environments, find joy in interaction, and seem to recharge their energy through contact with others. Jung called them extraverts. Others, he noticed, turn inward. They retreat into the rich inner landscapes of thought, emotion, and imagination. These are the introverts, who gather energy not from crowds, but from solitude. But here's the insight that changed everything. Jung never believed in black and white categories. No one, he insisted, is a pure introvert or pure extrovert. We all carry both tendencies within us. Yet most of us lean more strongly to one side. And then, there are those who stand in the middle, those who can sway between reflection and action, silence and speech, solitude and celebration. These are the ambiverts. Have you ever wondered where you belong on this spectrum? Let's explore further, not through labels, but through deeper understanding. Because when you uncover your core orientation, you're not just understanding your personality, you're unlocking a path to more authentic living. Now, before we dive deeper, take a moment to subscribe to our channel, Psychology of Happiness. We explore the depths of your mind, your emotions, and your potential, helping you understand yourself better, one insight at a time. Your journey toward inner clarity begins here. Let's return to our story. In the 1960s, psychologist Hans Eysenck expanded on Jung's foundation. He proposed that the true difference between introverts and extroverts lies not only in how they behave, but in how their minds function, specifically, how they regulate energy. According to Eysenck, introverts are more sensitive to stimulation. Their brains are already more active at rest. As a result, too much noise, too many people, or too much stimulation can easily overwhelm them. To protect themselves and replenish their energy, they turn inward. They seek silence, stillness, and simplicity. Extroverts, on the other hand, have lower baseline brain activity. For them, the outer world isn't overwhelming, it's energizing. They seek stimulation not to escape reality, but to feel more alive within it. Social gatherings, new experiences, and external challenges light them up from the inside. It's not just psychology, it's biology, it's wiring, and understanding your wiring changes everything. To bring this to life, let's meet two imaginary children, each representing one end of this psychological spectrum. Let's return to our story with two imaginary children, Jay and Anne. Their worlds are different, but both are rich in meaning. Jay is an extrovert. He bursts into life the moment he's surrounded by others. He thrives in the chaos of a busy schoolyard, where voices blend into laughter, movement, and constant conversation. He isn't just social, he seeks interaction. He organizes spontaneous football matches, then instantly pivots to a game of ping pong, always in motion, always alive in connection. The more people, the more stimulation, the more energy he feels. Jay is recharged by the world outside. Crowds don't drain him, they fuel him. Now, meet Anne. She's quiet, observant. While others run wild in the park, she finds peace sitting alone beneath a tree. quietly observing life's gentle rhythms. At home, she finds joy in tending her small herb garden, carefully planting, nurturing, learning. She doesn't seek the spotlight, but that doesn't mean she's shy. In fact, Anne is confident, thoughtful. She can speak to anyone, even adults, with clarity and grace. But when conversations grow too shallow or loud, something in her dims. Her energy begins to leak. That's her signal, not of weakness, but of wisdom. So she steps back, into silence, into herself. And it's in that space of stillness that she recharges. Her inner world becomes her sanctuary. Her thoughts, slow and deep, begin to bloom. This is not about who is better, Jay or Anne. It's about understanding how they are different, and how each path is powerful in its own way. Now, think about this. In a society that often celebrates extraversion, boldness, loudness, fast thinking, it's easy to overlook the quiet strength of the introvert. But both energies are essential. Both are needed. Psychologists have even discovered differences in how the brains of introverts and extroverts process the world. For example, extroverts tend to use more of their short-term memory systems. That's why Jay always has a quick comeback, an instant response, a fast opinion. His mind jumps from idea to idea, forming connections like lightning. It makes him seem sharp, even charismatic. But sometimes Jay speaks before he thinks. His words race ahead of his wisdom, and later he may need to walk them back. Anne, on the other hand, relies more heavily on her long-term memory. Her brain moves slowly, but with purpose. She reflects. She contemplates. Her answers may take a little longer, but when they come, they are often layered, thoughtful, and deeply considered. Imagine a tourist stops both Jay and Anne to ask for directions. Jay immediately offers 3 different routes, 2 landmarks, and a funny story about getting lost once. Anne pauses. She pictures the map in her mind. She wants to give the best answer, not the fastest. She chooses her words with care, then responds. Neither approach is wrong. They are simply different expressions of intelligence. Good teachers and wise leaders understand this. In classrooms and boardrooms around the world, those who recognize these psychological differences create environments where both introverts and extroverts can shine. They might begin meetings or discussions with a moment of silent reflection, giving introverts time to gather their thoughts before speaking. They might use tools like talking sticks in group discussions, ensuring that every voice is heard. They might structure brainstorming sessions in ways that allow the Jays to bounce ideas and give Anne space to think deeply before contributing. In group projects, when extroverts and introverts work together, something magical happens. Jay learns to slow down, to think before speaking, to deepen his ideas. Anne learns to loosen up, to experiment with spontaneity, to express her thoughts with greater fluidity. It's not just teamwork, it's transformation. And sometimes, when the same temperaments work together, introverts with introverts, or extroverts with extroverts, they begin to see their own patterns mirrored back at them. Introverts may need to step up and speak, while extroverts may need to slow down and reflect. The harmony doesn't come from sameness, it comes from balance. This understanding isn't new. In fact, educators and psychologists have been building on these ideas for decades. One such visionary was Rudolf Steiner, the founder of the Waldorf education system. Steiner believed that education should nurture the whole child, body, soul, and spirit. And to do that, we must first understand who the child truly is. In his classrooms, Steiner created space for both the introverted and extroverted child. Activities were designed not just to teach facts, but to awaken each student's unique way of thinking, feeling, and engaging with the world. He knew what many modern systems have forgotten. Temperament is not a flaw to be fixed. It is a force to be understood. This idea was later supported by the work of psychologist Jerome Kagan, who studied temperament in infants. In a groundbreaking experiment, Kagan exposed 500 babies to various stimuli, loud noises, new smells, unfamiliar faces. About 20% of the babies became distressed. They cried, squirmed, turned away. These were the high-reactive infants. Another 40% stayed calm and curious, and the remaining 40% were somewhere in between. Kagan followed these children for years, and here's what he discovered. The high-reactive babies, the ones who were easily overstimulated, grew up to be more introverted. They were sensitive, cautious, reflective. The low-reactive babies, those who barely reacted, grew up to be more extroverted. They were bold, adventurous, and drawn to new experiences. Temperament, it turns out, isn't just shaped by environment. It's part of us from the beginning. Now pause for a moment. What about you? Were you the child who watched quietly from the edge of the playground? Or the one who ran headfirst into the center of the game? Did you retreat into books, drawing, daydreams? Or seek out noise, excitement, connection? Maybe you were both. Maybe you still are. Because some people don't fit neatly into either category. They are ambiverts, those who walk the line between introversion and extraversion. They can be energized by people one day and crave solitude the next. Ambiverts are adaptable. They read the room. They respond to context. And in many ways, they embody balance. But whether you lean inward, outward, or somewhere in between, what matters most is this: you are not broken. You are built differently. Now let's make this practical. How do you honor your natural energy in a world that constantly pushes you in the opposite direction? If you're an introvert, give yourself permission to step away. Not everything needs your presence. Schedule solitude like it's sacred, because for you, it is. Choose depth over breadth. One meaningful connection is worth more than 10 shallow ones. When you speak, your words carry weight. Use them with care and confidence. If you're an extrovert, seek out stimulation that lifts you up, not wears you down. Remember to pause. Reflection brings clarity. Be mindful of the quiet ones. Invite them in. Make space. Your energy is contagious. Use it to elevate, not overpower. And if you're an ambivert, trust your rhythm. Some days are made for noise, others for silence. Don't let the world box you in. You're not indecisive. You're dynamic. Learn when to lean in and when to lean back. That's your gift. So, who are you, really? An introvert, quiet, deep, reflective. An extrovert, bold, vibrant, expressive. Or something in between, a beautiful blend of both. The truth is, you don't need to choose. You simply need to listen, to observe, to understand the patterns of your own energy, and to respect them. Because that's where power begins, with self-awareness. In a world that constantly tells you to be more outgoing, more visible, more everything, sometimes the most radical thing you can do is to be exactly who you are. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." So take that privilege seriously. Whether your path winds inward or outward, whether your power is found in silence or in speech, honor it. The world doesn't need more noise. It needs more authenticity. And you, just as you are, bring something rare and irreplaceable to this world. If this message resonates with you, don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe to our channel, Psychology of Happiness, for weekly insights into the human mind, emotions, and growth. We believe that happiness isn't found by chasing someone else's path, but by understanding your own. Here, we don't just talk about psychology. We live it, we explore it, we grow with it. So join the journey. Because the more you know yourself, the more powerful, peaceful, and purposeful your life becomes. And now, take a deep breath. Affirm to yourself, I am enough, exactly as I am. I honor my energy, my rhythm, my voice. Whether I turn inward or reach outward, I am whole. I am seen. I am understood. I am free to be me. Thank you for watching. And remember, true happiness begins when you stop trying to fit in and start learning to truly belong to yourself. Subscribe, reflect, grow. This is Psychology of Happiness.